Hello, Jason. My name is Matt with Help Scout. And after reviewing your resume, I have a few follow-up questions for you. You have any questions for us as we start?
No, go ahead.
Okay. As you know, we're a web design firm, and we require HTML and CSS knowledge. So, and design, of course, design structure is key. Can you explain your work, web design, your experience?
Yeah, so of course, I just finished my bachelor's degree in graphic design with Full Sail University. A majority of my experience is going to be the classes I took there, doing HTML, CSS, designing websites with the classes that I had there. But I also had prior experience at another university that I went to, doing web design classes there as well. In my spare time, I've done a few web pages and things like that for friends and other small businesses in the area.
Okay, great, great. And of course, and a web design, it all starts with design. So what's your knowledge on design theory?
I have a pretty strong knowledge of color, hierarchy, page layout, things like that. Making sure that my typography is fits the style of the project that I'm working on. Um, Pretty much, I mean, I have a pretty strong knowledge in the actual, what makes a good design.
Okay, okay. Um, Now, of course, as design, all our work here at our firm all starts with Photoshop and Sketch. Can you describe your workflow from the beginning to end?
So most in all pretty much every project I've undertaken starts with my research. I do a lot of research into either if it's a product or if it's a style or anything like that. I do a lot of research on the background of the history of that. Get a lot of ideas from basically what's going on, the trends right now, to make sure that it's going to be, make sure my design is going to be relevant to, the present trends in design. After that, I do a lot of hand sketching, laying out my designs, with pencil, fleshing it out basically. And then after that, I go into either Illustrator or Photoshop and start making a rough draft of my design. After that, I get approval. As long as everything is where it needs to be, the color's right, the layout, the hierarchy, everything's there. Then I go into my final design and start working on that. And again, getting the feedback as I go, making the tweaks to the design, polishing it, and then finally getting the finished design at the end.
Okay, great, great. And of course, here at Help Scout, we never stop learning. We always encourage our employees to continue learning. Um, are you actively learning other skills on your side outside of school?
Actually, in the process of going to be signing up with the Adobe certification classes. I want to get myself completely certified in Adobe. That way, I know the programs front to back. I believe that information, that knowledge, is going to greatly benefit me in the future as far as my skills and everything with the tools that we use.
Great, great. And uh, and of course, we're a small firm, but we're a very close team. What kind of team player are you?
Excellent team player, actually. I had pretty much every job I've had up till now. I've been part of a team, including my background in law enforcement. That to me, that doesn't get any bigger of a team than that. So that's you're relying on your fellow officers, and they're relying on you. So you're putting your life in other people's hands. So it doesn't get much more of a team player than that.
Okay, great. And do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, I have a couple.
Okay.
So I know you guys are a small firm, but in terms of overall growth and the ability to move up company, do you feel that there's going to be room to grow with this company?
Yes, we are actually very successful right now. We plan to expand in different cities. Right now, we're small now in terms of employees, but we're accomplishing a lot of work, and we plan in the next couple of years to double our employees, which will leave room for promotion, improvement, even possible location movements.
Excellent, excellent. Sounds good. Um, my last question, I guess, would be as far as I know, this is a work remotely job. So in terms of like, would there be any travel involved? Would I have to come up to the office, up to the headquarters at any point, or is this strictly just remote?
For the most part, remote. If I mean, we understand people today that have their families; it's hard to travel. If it's necessary, we'll definitely give you enough time, enough room to make arrangements to come visit us. But mostly remote, and right now we're very successful having everybody at their own location.
Excellent.
So not a whole lot of travel.
All right, sounds good.
Right.
Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. Okay, now you want to start with yours?
All right. Hello, my name is Jason Romano. Welcome to UFC. See your application here, and it looks like you're looking for a graphic design position with us.
Yes.
All right. Do you have any questions you want to ask before we start, or
no? I'm ready.
Okay. All right. And first, I just want the basic question of why do you want to work for the UFC?
I've always been a big fan of not only UFC, of sports in general. And when I seen your job come up, I was pretty excited. It'd be a great company to work for. So just me being a fan, that's probably a big reason why I'm motivated to work for you guys.
Okay. All right. I guess my next question would be what special skills basically set you apart? Could you use to benefit our brand?
I think I've done a lot of research in branding. I understand the importance of branding, and a lot of designers think it's all about just the aesthetic look of it. And there's a lot more to it. And with other companies I work for, that's one focus I have is definitely branding to make sure the UFC brand keeps the integrity of its brand and all its values.
Excellent, excellent. What past experiences do you have in the design industry?
Okay, right now I currently work with a professional indoor football team, and I currently do all their branding, all their stationery. Literally, I'm like a one-man show there. So I do everything from layouts to tickets to posters to social media graphics, and I'm pretty well versed in all different media design.
Okay, all right. Everybody has opportunities to or they've had situations where you work with difficult clients, things like that. Can you give me an example of a time that you've worked with a client that was unhappy with your work and what you did to fix the situation?
Yes. Of course, the customer's always right, and it's hard. Sometimes you got to bite your tongue when situations come up. There's a time where we had it in writing what they wanted. When we went step by step by approval, and at the end of the day, they didn't like it. They wanted me to do revisions and revisions, and I had to sit down with the client and just explain to him each step was approved one by one. And even though I was right in the agreement, I still made it right by going his direction a little bit. So even though it was out of contract, out of our part, I still made it right for him.
All right. And my last question to you would be, where do you see yourself in the future?
Well, if I was in this company, I'd definitely like to work my way up to the top. It'd be a great company to work for. Of course, starting out as a graphic designer is the first step, but working my way up to maybe a junior director, to in the future an art director for you guys would be great. So my future goals are the bar is set very high with you guys. I would love to be an art director for you guys one day.
Excellent. All right. Sounds good. Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, as far as location, and I know you guys are based in Las Vegas, is that the only area where I would be working out of?
We try to keep people close to home as much as possible. We do have offices in other countries, of course, overseas. Travel might be something that you would be required to do. However, again, family. We know people want to stay close to their family, so we'll try to keep you as close as possible, and limit the amount of travel as much as possible.
Okay, great. And how many hours committed a week? Is this a 40-hour a week? Is it maybe 60 hours on a fight week a week? Can you explain to me how many hours you're looking for?
It's definitely a 40-hour a week job. Now, granted, with all types of design jobs, there's going to be times where you're going to have late hours. You'll probably be working over sometimes, maybe even taking the work home with you at some point. The amount of hours that you put in are kind of really up to you, but I mean, it is a mandatory at least 40 hours a week.
Okay, great. And also, as far as a team, how many designers do you have working for you currently? I'm just kind of curious what kind of team I'd have, what kind of support I'd have.
So you'll definitely be working as part of a team. We have, at any given time in the offices, we have up to 10 designers. That's not including the leads or the program, the art directors. It's not including them, just the actual designers. So you'll be working with anywhere from 5 to 10 people at a time.
Okay, great. Okay, great. And that's it. Thank you for your
All
time.
right. Excellent. Look forward to hearing from you soon.
Okay, great. Okay, so now we review, right?
Yep. Now you do the feedback.
Okay. Yeah. As far as yours, it was good, pretty smooth. You said a lot, like when you're thinking, just kind of searching
Yeah,
what
I
to say.
do.
And I know I do the same thing. That's probably one. And I guess the more research you do, you kind of this is what this is good for. Kind of get these out of the way, so when it's the real deal, you kind of know exactly what to say.
Right.
Other than that, I think is pretty smooth. I mean, you know what you're talking about. You didn't seem like you're searching for an answer. You seem pretty knowledgeable of what you're wanting to do. So that's a good sign.
Great.
What do you think about me?
No, everything went smooth. The only thing I would say, just maybe just the eye contact. I mean, I know we're looking at cameras.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're constantly, I mean, obviously on here you're looking down, looking kind of, around the screen a little bit. So, but I mean, everything else. I mean, you had a smooth tone to your voice. There was, you could tell you were passionate about what you're talking about. So, yeah, I mean, just keeping the eye contact the whole time, pretty good.
And I think too for our industry, I think the more like talk we know, I guess the more design talk we know, the better. Even we get smarter than we are sometimes. Yeah, that could be a good thing for both of us to learn. All these technical words make us sound
all the terminology.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That can make us sound.
Need a graphic design dictionary.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, other than that, I think overall pretty good.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right.